And it kind of made me think, you know, we American farmers, we like to say we're feeding the world, but it's not necessarily what we produce. It's the knowledge that we have that we can impart and give to other farmers around the world to help push them forward.
Quint and Leah Pottinger work 1,500 acres in central Kentucky near New Haven. His crops are corn, soybeans, and returning soon to the farm, wheat.
Our family settled the area in the late 1700s, and we've been here ever since. Primarily cattle country up until the last 2 decades when we started raising corn and soybeans. No-till in Kentucky has really brought row crop production here, and it makes it very productive for us.
It's safe to say that Leah, a photographer and IT project manager, did not expect to add full-time farmer to her resume when she met Quint.
I started farming full-time when I got out of college. After I married my wife, I actually told her I was going to be full-time farmer, and she laughed at me, and now here we are. I brought her from the city into the farm.
Affinity farms evolved and grew quickly in a few short years. Vegetables were part of the first crop. Now his corn and soybeans flow into specialty markets, including the area's many distillers.
We started with 50 acres of row crops and vegetables, and we don't do any vegetables anymore. And every year we've just rapidly grown, and we went from 50 acres to 100 acres to 400 acres to 800 acres, and then we merged my farm with my father's farm. That took us to 1,200, and this year we have 1,500 acres of row crops. So rapidly expanding and growing in the last 5 years. Our corn goes to bourbon, to the bourbon industry here. We have Maker's Mark, Willett Distillery, Jim Beam, and Heaven Hill. Our soybeans that we grow for the biodiesel plant in Owensboro, and we have a recent river port that's opened up south of Louisville in Brandenburg.
Deer are another consumer of Quint's corn. But this is a profitable consumption. He bags 1/3 of his crop for deer corn.
Of course, when you do that on mass quantities, you can make money, but if you're doing it here or there to the deer hunters, it kind of is a struggle. So we decided if we were going to bag corn, we needed to develop a pretty good market to move a good portion of our crop. And this year would be the first year we've actually marketed it wholesale to different retailers, and we'll be selling almost 1/3 of our corn crop in a bag, which is tricky, because it's all hand bagged and hand sewn and stacked on a pallet by me. So it's labor intensive, but we've been able to almost double our price just by bagging it.
Quint says one of his best decisions was to get down from his tractor seat and look at roots.
We were already running GPS technology, and so to implement some of the precision planting technology was a pretty easy move over. And so we started in with variable rate seeding and learned that because our soils vary so much, the payback with variable rate seeding was pretty high. Then we took it one step further, and we got to actually digging in the dirt and seeing the agronomy of how the corn roots were actually being established. And we noticed some inconsistencies even with some of the lift and down pressure systems that we had. And that's when we decided to step into hydraulic downforce. And that's been the best technological move we've made on the farm since I've started farming. Just being able to get a consistent seed depth and get root establishment has made our corn crop more consistent overall.
Quint surrounds himself with people who keep him at the top of his game.
When you start small when you're young, one of the most important things that you have to have in any business, not just farming, is you have to have a good, solid base. People that you can surround yourself with that have been through the works, been through the business, that can help move you forward. Because when you fall down and when you fail, you just want to crawl up in a hole and seclude yourself from everybody, and you can't do that. You have to keep moving, especially when you're running a business that requires as much capital as farming does today.
His father, Ramey, tops Quint's list of mentors.
And I remember when we hit rock bottom there in 13 and 14, when prices started to go down and yields were tough, we were coming out of a drought. I asked Dad, how are we going to do this? And he just laughed at me. He said, "You haven't seen hard times yet, and I hope you never have to see hard times like I had. But if you do, I'll be here and I'll coach you through it." And he's been such a good mentor through these hard times, keeping my emotional intelligence in check and helping me keep my eye focused on what's important on the farm.
While Lee is learning to drive combines and grain trucks, she's also learning a few things about her husband and herself.
Working with Quint has been fantastic. It's been a learning curve for me because I'm not from the farm. I don't have any preconceived notions on how things are supposed to work, so I can't really argue when he tells me to do something one way. I've also learned a lot about myself and how to give a little bit and compromise and do things the way that they need to be done on the farm.
James, who is from Haiti and a graduate of the University of Kentucky, taught Quint about the value of having a vision.
Now James started a poultry farm, able to house 3,000 birds. He started this year with a herd of 50, and with every flock he's grown it. He's up to nearly 1,000 birds now, and he's reduced the cost of food in his little community, what he says is nearly 10 to 20%.
James also taught Quint about hope.
James has taught me that if you have a dream and you have a little bit of hope, then nothing can really stop you. It's just your willpower and the people you surround yourself with that can help push you over the finish line.